Welcome back to Ghost Rider Entertainment. I'm your host, Kanan Becker, and today we take a deep dive into Tubi. And real quick before we get into this, if you could do me a favor and hit that like button, because that really helps this channel out so much. Alright, so on today's edition of Horrorween, I thought it would be fun to go looking through Tubi and come up with 10 horror movies that are great to watch for the Halloween season. And with that, let's get to the list. So kicking this list off is Elvira Presents Puppet Master.
In a house of mysteries.
This hotel seems to have quite a history, Mr. Gallagher.
Oh my God.
She's experiencing the past. Because we are all joined by our thoughts.
Alright, so a couple weeks ago, Shudder put out a special, an Elvira special that is, where she presented 4 different movies, and it was a great time. And when I was searching through Tubi the other day, I came across this gem. So not only is this great because of Elvira, but it's also a great movie. Puppet Master is so much fun. I love how each one of these little puppets has their own unique, demented style and personality, and they're really done well. Yes, Puppet Master has kind of gone on to have way too many movies, and they've started to really just become a joke over time because they're really not that great anymore. But if you go back to the beginning, this original Puppet Master, I think, is a great little gem, one that you don't hear talked about nearly enough. And if for some reason you've never checked it out, I think it's a great one. No matter what, it is very fun to watch this time of year.
Irene Miracle, Paul LeMat, Barbara Crampton, and William Hickey as the Puppet Master.
All right, now we go to ABCs of Death.
A, B, C, D, H, I, J, K, L, O, N, O.
So ABCs of Death is a movie that came out a while back, and I think it's great. Granted, not every single segment of it is as good as some of the other ones. Just like any anthology type of thing, you're going to have some that are much stronger than others, but especially one like this that has a different section for each one of the letters of the alphabet, because it's just a lot of movies to be compiled together. So of course they're not all going to be amazing, but some of them are just chilling, and they're just fun in all these different ways. Everything from animated to very theatrical feeling to grindhousey to found footage, like just all these different types of scenarios are played out in these little shorts. Just such a cool idea too, the fact that each one has to use a different letter of the alphabet as their theme. They just come up with a different word for each letter of the alphabet and make a little short movie around it with all different directors, actors, just all made by different people. I just think it's a great little movie and one that I think is perfect for this time of year. All right, now we go to Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
You have been chosen, Buffy,
To do what?
to stop the vampires.
Does Elvis talk to you?
And things started getting weird around here.
So this really is a great little horror comedy gem that stars Christy Swanson, and she is fabulous in it. Just a lot of fun on camera.
How's it going?
You're obviously having a bad hair day.
And she really kicks some ass in this as well. It's just a very funny movie in general that has a great little cast, and it's one of those movies that is not talked about nearly enough. If you're looking for something that's just not too heavy and really is lighthearted and entertaining with some really great little comedic moments, then I think this is a perfect one to watch this spooky season.
Buffy, the Vampire Slayer.
And now we go to Tales of Halloween.
Every year on Halloween, this town goes batshit crazy.
Trick or treat.
So Tales of Halloween is another really fun little anthology movie along the lines of Trick or Treat, with different little unique stories that all have to do with Halloween. So like all anthologies, some segments are much stronger than others, but there's definitely some of these that are just a really great time. I personally enjoy it. If you're looking for something that maybe you haven't seen and feels very much Halloween season with some really spooky little moments, no matter what, I just think it's a fun one that you should check out. Next up, we go to the houses October built.
Tell me about yourself and what are we doing?
You want my name? My name is Zach. You've known me for 20 years, Mikey. I rented an RV. I want to find the most extreme haunted house in the world.
So the Houses October Built is on Tubi, as well as the sequel, The Houses October Built 2. And the second one isn't as good as the first one, but it is still a fun movie. It is still enjoyable. The first one, though, I think is an extremely well done found footage movie. To be honest, it's one of my favorite found footage movies, especially because it is so much in the Halloween season. But it just feels throughout a lot of it like an actual documentary about this group of people going to these different haunted houses, because it legitimately was. They were filming an actual documentary about haunted houses when they basically partway through got the idea of making this horror movie. So they, instead of just making it a documentary, they took it a step further and turned it into an actual little horror movie.
What's the camera for? Are you doing Crime Stoppers or cops or something?
We're doing To Catch a Predator.
To Catch a Predator! We're gonna go!
And because of that, I think it's really strong. It definitely has some moments that are really spooky and a lot of fun. So if you've never checked this out and you're looking for something that's got that Halloween vibe all over it, then you definitely need to check this out.
Hey, wait up! Wait up!
All right, now we go to Terrifier. So Art the Clown has taken over the horror world in the last few years. He is definitely one of the fastest rising horror icons in the industry, without a doubt.
Do you really think someone slashed my tires?
He knows this is your car. He saw us getting into it earlier.
And the sequel, Terrifier 2, just wrapped filming not too long ago, so we should get to finally see this movie just around the corner. No matter what though, Art the Clown is one of my favorites as far as a new horror icon. Feels fresh, new, original in a lot of ways, and just a lot of fun to watch. He's savage and just absolutely fucking vicious. This is one of those situations that if you've never seen this and you have not the strongest stomach, you might want to skip this one. But if you love gore, lots of blood, stuff that makes you squeamish, then this is definitely a blast. It's just a movie that I always have a great time with and is now part of my Halloween season ritual. And you can't beat the fact that it's on Tubi for free, so I highly recommend you check it out.
What I want you to do now is just remain calm and stay on the line with me until the police arrive.
Next up, one of the greatest horror movies ever made, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So I threw this on the list because it is one of the greatest horror movies ever made, and I think it's important this time of year to watch at least one of those great iconic horror movies that helped pave the way for all the different horror movies you see, one of those foundation piece movies, and Texas Chainsaw Massacre is definitely one of those. It is amazing what they were able to accomplish with such a small budget in this situation they were in, but because of the situation, the weather, just the lack of money, all those things helped create this iconic movie. There are so many things that are iconic about this movie, but nothing more iconic than Leatherface. He is definitely on my horror Mount Rushmore because he is fantastic. Everything about this movie just oozes that creepy horror vibe, and I think because of that, it is perfect to put on this time of year. When you're looking for something that's just creepy and downright scary, you can't go wrong with Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. After you stop screaming, you'll start talking about it.
Next up, Waxwork.
Imagine, if you will, an exhibit in fear.
It looks a little spooky, boys. You think we should do this?
A place that appeals to your deepest and darkest fantasies.
So Waxwork is a movie from the 80s that you just don't hear people talk about nearly enough. But this is a perfect movie for this time of year because it has werewolves, it has vampires, it has all these different kinds of iconic horror monster creatures all packed into this one movie in this very fun scenario where this group of people go to this wax museum and all the different things in that wax museum start to come alive in a very unique type of situation.
Live, my children. Live.
It's one of those movies that I think is perfect for the Halloween season because it's got all your iconic monsters all in one place. And it's also one of those movies that just not enough people have seen. So I think if you haven't seen this, this is definitely one, especially if you're a fan of 80s movies, this is definitely one you should check out.
Vestron Pictures welcomes you into a new dimension in terror. Waxwork.
All right, and last but not least is the 1932 film, The Mummy. So The Mummy is so iconic. It is one of the most iconic Universal films, definitely right up there with Frankenstein and Dracula. In some ways, I actually like this movie more. This is just kind of a better movie because the story of this is just got more layers to it and more entertaining characters. It's just a better made movie in a lot of ways than Frankenstein or Dracula. No matter what, if you're looking for something that's got that creepy black and white Universal monster movie goodness on it, you cannot go wrong with The Mummy. Everything about this movie just feels awesome this time of year.
The Mummy. Is it dead or alive? Human or inhuman?
It's just one of those movies that has that warm horror movie blanket feel for me that I just love so much. Get a bowl of popcorn, kind of, relax Halloween evening as you get closer and closer to Halloween and just enjoy a movie, one that you don't have to overthink and isn't going to freak you out too much. You could definitely watch this with kids. I just think it's a perfect movie for this spooky time of year, and that's why I highly recommend it. Alright guys, that's going to do it for me today. Please leave your comments down below. Let me know if there's any movies off of Tubi that I missed. I always love hearing from you guys. And if you also could do me a favor, hit that subscribe button and ding that little bell because that is the best way to keep track of this channel. And when I post videos like this, and I post videos like this at least 2 times every week, I also want to give a huge, massive, enormous thank you to my patrons because you guys, your support seriously means so much to me. And if you would like to find out more about becoming a patron, the link is down in the description. And like always, thank you so much for watching. Please crush that like button. And remember guys, horror can be fun. I will see you guys next time.